content not suitable for children. Listener discretion advised, yo.
The Drew World Order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
For we meet in an hour of change and challenge, in a decade of hope and fear, in an age of both knowledge and ignorance.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
To induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example.
However, I think we're going to do it. And new hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
Because when you go through that, like, shit in life, god damn it, at the time, like, it just fucking kills you. It makes you numb. It adds trauma, more traumatic experiences that you gotta fucking filter through and sift through. But you know, I mean, if nobody else finds you worthy, I don't know, like, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to face. Like, if nobody else thinks that you are worthy, and especially if you, like, let that seed of doubt, like, enter your mind and start to germinate, little seedling germinates into, okay, maybe I'm not worthy. And then you start to cultivate that thought after somebody else plants it in your mind. Then you're cultivating this self-doubt. Don't let somebody, like, push you or get you to a level that causes you to think, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I deserve better than this. I don't care how hot they are. I don't care how fucking good they suck dick. I don't care how much money they have. I don't fucking care if they make your waffles fucking perfect every fucking day. I don't, whatever variable you want to, like, throw in there. I don't fucking care. Like, that's a lot of our problem is we're on me included, superficial, shallow. So we're willing to look past some of the terrible negative qualities in people because they might fucking have big tits. And I'm in no position to lecture at all. So I'm not lecturing. I'm telling myself people's attitude towards you, whoever that might be, shit talking anymore. Like, as you get older, I'm 37. I don't have time for that shit anymore. I don't have time for people to be like, why the fuck did you do this 5 years ago? Why the fuck did you not do this when you're 18? Like, who the fuck cares? Like, what am I supposed to do about that? You know? I don't have a fucking time machine. The only time machine that really does exist, the only true time machine that exists would be your memories. But you can't go back and alter those. You remember it how you remember it. That's a time machine. You can go back in time into your memories and relive things from the past. You can't change them, but you can relive them. And by reliving them, you can either decide, okay, that memory was really fucking awesome and really good. What did I do and what path was I on that led to a memory of, like, jubilation, as opposed to, wow, I fucked that up. I'm an idiot. How do I fucking do anything about that? You can't do anything about it. Time heals all wounds, I guess. And you know what? Like, if you do fuck up, then that's on you. Just like when I fuck up, that's on me. You got to worry about you, just like I got to worry about me. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, we should just all be egotistical fucking asshats. No, the world's full of that. It's ridiculous. Like, I'd like to think that I've learned some very valuable lessons the last 4 years. Hopefully lessons that don't ever manifest in how they manifest ever again, because the choice you've made to, like, correct the course of action. It's fucking bewildering. It is bewildering. This planet is bewildering. The planet has turned itself into a parody version of itself. Even the woke people now are clueless as fuck. How does that even happen? I would recommend All Gas, No Brakes. It's fucking hilarious. Some things about it piss me off because the guy doesn't do any attempt at all. Doesn't make any attempt at all to, like, kind of substantiate some of the claims that some of these asshats are making. But at the same time, he's doing a really good job of making these asshats who are making some of these claims look like fucking fools. I didn't create or make up the fact that David Rockefeller and Zbigniew Brzezinski talk about their plan for the world. I didn't make that up. They made that up. That came out of their words. That was their imagination. The technocratic elite should be running the planet. And that's what we're trying to do, is bring the planet into a global community where the technocratic elite can literally steer society the way they want. And they could be having their big little fucking club like in Hunger Games. And the rest of us, well, we're just fucking peons. What's a fucking, we're just cattle to them. But it just blows my mind, like, especially in that All Gas, No Brakes, like how good this guy does. Like, wow, you're letting them talk, but these people are making idiots of themselves. Like, how the fuck do these people, it just blows my mind. How is that possible that people are woke are fucking clueless? You know? It just blows my mind. And it's embarrassing. It almost makes me not want to fucking do my podcast anymore. It's like, oh my God, this, what I call it, cognitive bias. I had 1 week of exposure to globalism, the esoteric, the occult, Satanism, Luciferianism, human trafficking, geopolitical strife, proxy wars, fucking United Nations, Bilderberg Group, Council for Relations, Trilateral Commission, IMF, Klaus Schwab, whatever. Like, I could go on and on. I could go on and on for days. Just fucking certain. You don't get 1 week down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be pretentious here. But this pisses me off when people are like, yeah, man, but I got a pretty good idea of what's going on now. Like, whoa, what? And then they just try to be logical and reasonable in their argument with you. Like, no. I read the first 3 pages. I know what's going on. Like, how in the fuck can you possibly see things that way? How can you possibly have that ego, the pride? I don't know. Maybe it has to be pride. They're too proud to like fucking read the rest of the book, but they're too proud to fucking admit that, you know what, I only read the first 3 pages. I know what I'm talking about. That's like me going to and watching a surgery for 10 minutes. The surgery is like 3 days long. It's a 72-hour Siamese twin marathon detaching. I watch the first 10 minutes. I don't even see them fucking cut anything. I see them wash their hands. And then a week later, I come back and yet, hey, man, I am ready to cut some Siamese twins apart. No, that's fucking, it's insane. That's the thing. We got people out here encouraging people like, well, you know, to be fair, Drew, he didn't have time to read the book. Like, okay, what about the ones that did read the book? Did we not have time? Well, you wasted your time. You know, if you read the first 3 pages, you don't have to read the rest of the book. You can get the talking points from Cliff Notes, and then you can go back to watching binge watching Lucifer. You know, that's the best way to fight the fucking globalists and the Satanists, and is to fucking read 3 pages of a David Icke book and then fucking go watch 16 seasons of Lucifer. Hey, man, I got my Depends on. I don't have to fucking move or do anything. I'm going to shit myself while I sit here and watch this show. And I'm not leaving these Depends or this couch, even though there might be poop stains on it, until I finish this fucking. It's a fucking parody version of itself. I think Grand Theft Auto 5, it seems like a better Earth to me. Because the planet we're living in now, it's like, Jesus Christ, is this Grand Theft Auto 6? What happened? I mean, well, I can tell you what happened. Really, the only thing you can do, everybody wants to save the world. Like, everybody wants to leave the world a little better. Well, most of us want to leave the world a little better, even though we do make stupid mistakes and we might hurt somebody and do something that, okay, I might not have left the world a little better the last 3 months than how I found it. Well, we're human beings, you know, we fuck shit up. But at the same time, we have the capacity for good and the capacity for evil. Like, nobody really sees acts of good because it's just fucking terrible atrocity everywhere. So it's hard to see acts of good. But even when you do see acts of good, like when there is an act of good, demons hide in shadows. The shadow entities, the shadow people. That's where our demons hide. Our demons hide. Like, I don't know. Demons don't fucking come out and expose themselves. They're sneaky. They're fucking deceitful. They hide in the shadows. They're gonna hide behind acts of like good intent, acts of good natured doing or whatever. Now, that's what evil does when an act of good is presented. Now, when an act of evil is presented, when somebody sees something atrocious or evil or just fucking awful, like just evil has the ability to literally swarm people's perception, like just take it over sometimes. For me too. I'm not saying I'm on my pedestal like this happens to all of us, because we're all human beings. Even though some of us might be different starseed alliances, whether it be Arcturian, Andromedan, Pleiadian, Syrian. I mean, that's only you can figure that out for yourself. I'm Arcturian. The world government should be commandeered and orchestrated by the free will of humanity. On an individual basis, I don't even know if you can have collective free will. That's sense. But in the world we live in, like, hey man, this is what we all decided to do. Even though you didn't decide to do that, this is what we're going to do. That seems like mob rule. That we had a vote, Mr. Drew, and it was a close one, but you almost had it, baby. Do not manipulate free will. Free will's literally just thrown up in the air and thrown around and used like a rag doll time and time again. It's like, it's just, they've bastardized like free will. If free will was respected on this planet, there would be no murder, there'd be no burglary, there'd be no rape, there'd be no fucking breaking and entering, there'd be no assault. I mean, I don't know who wants to get assaulted. I don't know who wants to be burglarized. Now, if you do want to be burglarized, then I'm sure that we can come up with something that would allow you to be burglarized in some strange fetish where maybe you don't get hurt, but you're burglarized, so you're happy that, hey, they violated my free will. I thought the point was to express your free will and to respect other people's free will while you are in the expression of your own. What my parents told me about life and like what this is and shit and who we are and like what all this is, because I always ask that. And a lot of people, I rub people the wrong way when I ask that. I pester people. Because it's like Socrates said when he was walking around asking the commanders of the military, like, what, can you define the word courageous for me? And when none of these commanders were like, I don't fucking know, Socrates basically said, who are you to tell these brave people who are running into battle to be courageous when you don't even fucking know what it means? And they put him to death for it. They killed him because he had the tenacity to ask a general, hey man, do you even know what that does? Nope, but fire it. They killed him. That's the world we live in. When we kill those people, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, JFK, Malcolm X, we kill those people. But I mean, that's the only planet we have. This is where we're going to make our stand. So I guess the only option I have, let that energy, let those people do that shit that they do to you that causes you to like fucking not develop or evolve, or they try to demonize things that you're passionate about. That's fine. If you want to do that, by all means. But you're literally, every choice in life is a sacrifice. So if you choose to let somebody like that around you or into your life and like belittle you and just hold you back, you're sacrificing your destiny, offering up everything that you could offer up to one person who didn't listen to it anyways because they know it all. And knowledge is not malevolent or benevolent. Knowledge is knowledge. Information is information. It's what you do with the information that dictates how it's going to be practical in the world. There are things that I know, and when I open my mouth on something, and I tell people this all the time, if I open my mouth on it, I know what I'm talking about. I don't open my mouth on shit I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really even anymore. I don't open my mouth about shit I do know what I'm talking about when I'm around certain people, because it's just like, listen, this is an energy trap. This is a bad energy trap. This person is trying to, whether they know it or not, and a lot of people don't even know it. They don't even know it. That's how fucking, I guess, possessed, or how much the mindset that's been programmed, hardwired into humanity, that's how much that mindset has begun to take effect. Like we're acting out the program. It's your reptilian brain and default responses. But if you think your shit don't stink, then how are you going to react to somebody telling you, hey, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your shit stinks? And you recognize an opportunity to either say something, to speak up, to speak your mind, to leave your imprint on the legacy of the situation, discover the new you, get out of your natural habitat, to leave, to come back home. There's just so many challenges of being human, you know? We are confused as fuck. And again, life is short, and while I do not believe in the concept of time as it's, I guess, taught us, like time is a false construct. But at the same time, no pun intended, time being a false construct, it's truly the only currency that exists. I know that's doublespeak. I know that's George Orwell would have a field day with that shit. He'd be like, oh, doublespeak. Yes, I wear a watch, but that just helps me like coordinate and organize my day, because that's the rules of the game, if you will. Like somebody made the rules of this game on a like quantum level, and then on a sociological level, a psychological level, a societal level, an economic level. Like there's all these different rules and all these little micro games that are just pieced together to form the game of life. So when you step into that game and you try to bring a different frequency or information or offer something new to that frequency or to that game doesn't know that. That game only recognizes itself as itself. And that being the game, it's designed the rules of that game. And I'm talking about drugs, obviously. You cannot be the person that you were 2 weeks ago. You're not the person you were yesterday. You're not the person you were 2 hours ago. The more tools you possess, the more resources you use at your disposal, it doesn't matter if your competition has more resources. All right. They might not know what to do with those resources. I'm saying this is what the ideal situation would be. And to milk those fucking resources until you cannot milk them anymore. I'm not saying parasite. I'm saying utilize, gain from, inquire from, learn from. Tap those resources until those resources and the potential of those resources, the acknowledgement of those resources, the tools of those resources is embedded into your brain. Apply all the everything, the facets of that resource. You're basically doing a transplant. You're going to tap out the fucking resource, but at the same time, you're going to keep the resource alive because now it's in your brain. And you're going to continue to evolve and understand and just develop new ways of looking at the resource, new ways of inquiring, how do you tap the resource, whatever. And from that point, honestly, in my opinion, you probably just developed a skill and a resource. You probably have a resource at your disposal that you will have forever because of how perception works and awareness works. And ideally, ego not being a factor here, because you're going to have to check your ego sometimes in life. We all have to check our ego, humility, When I was 21 or 22, I was working at a rec center, and there were two me's starting to emerge. There was the me, the professional me, that didn't do any of the things that the party me did on the weekends. If the party me and the professional me came face to face in front of those parents, coaches, in that point of my career, that would have been bedlam. It would have been awful. It would have been the death of both of us. So as those two aspects of my character began to separate themselves and go down different paths, you have to make a choice. I had to make a choice. What do I do? I tried to incorporate the new me, I guess the slow drip of the new me into what I was portraying, the character I was portraying at work throughout the week. Obviously conspiracies and the occult and shit. I didn't talk to coaches about that. I didn't want my boss to know that I thought 9/11 might have been an inside job, but that was selling myself short, because that's not what I believed, or that's not what I resonated to. So, and when people would ask me that, I had a parent one time say, saw my Facebook page a long time ago, and it was covered with conspiracy stuff. And I had a parent really, they were let down. They were disappointed. Do you really believe that stuff? And I felt bad because I did believe it. It doesn't make any sense why I would feel bad. And I finally told them, I was listen, you can't discredit me and the effort I've put in, the time I've put in, the energy I've put in to coming to that conclusion. It's not a conclusion in anything regarding a conspiracy or the shit I talk about. This is just my conclusion. But you can't devalue that. You don't devalue your own experience. Don't devalue your own path. Don't devalue the hardships and how many times you've fallen down. Nobody else knows that. Nobody else can take that from you. And when you let somebody try to take that from you, when you let somebody, try to devalue the experience or the education you had to go through, as dark as it was, the dark night of the soul, when you let somebody fucking try to devalue your dark night of the soul, that is a slap in the face to you and them. Number one, it says that they have not fucking gone through that. And I pity the fool. I pity the son of a bitch that has that mentality and is about to go through that. You can either go through the voluntary loss of ego. I used to say death, but I don't think you want to kill your ego. You got to check it though, for sure. So you can go through the voluntary loss of ego, or the checking of ego, or the involuntary checking of ego. The voluntary checking of ego is signs from the universe, hints that, hey, maybe you don't know everything you think you know. Maybe you should, here's a step back a little, here's check you. Most of the people I run into, they ain't got any fucking interest in checking that ego. That ego is driving the fucking plane, driving the train, and it doesn't have any fucking plans of slowing down. But, ego, it's involuntary loss of the ego or your voluntary loss of the ego. The involuntary loss of the ego, shit, that is way worse. And you're going to suffer some setbacks and losses that you probably didn't have to suffer if you just would have maybe mastered your own fucking ego, or at least learned the ability to talk to your fucking ego, to talk to your stubbornness, to walk yourself back from the ledge. Be nah, man. I mean, we all get Stubborn. I'm stubborn as fuck. We're creatures of habit. We don't really like change. Wouldn't that be funny? Thanks for being here. This has been a fantastic rant session. I just shit my pants and I just exited the cast. And that was it. That's how, like, that'd be the way to go out, right? I haven't seen or heard from Drew in a year. Like, when's the last time you heard him? He was doing that cast where he was just rambling about fucking ego or some shit. He shit his pants and then the cast ended and that was it. That's how I want to go out. That's how I want to. The hell of a way to go out. Yeah. I don't know. What were we talking about? I think success depends on not what you know, but who you know. Because it's a big fucking club. Any organization, it's like a big fucking frat. Hey, man, I knew your dad in 1975, and you are the worst candidate for the job. But you know what? Your dad and I, we used to party hard and fuck bitches. You're going to get the job. That's how fucking the corporate world works. And I hate to say that. I take pride in what I do. It's not easy to like just talk at people about your feelings and blah, 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 and try to be transparent, like insightful. I'm just trying to help people. All right. At the same time, though, the most important person I'm trying to help is it's a reminder to myself. What about it? I'm a reformed porn star. Big deal. I'm a reformed a lot of things. I'm a reformed meth head too. Is that, are you going to judge me for that? People make mistakes. I'm owning up to it. Same thing. I'm not saying that, hey, I'm the exception to the rule. No, there are no exceptions to the rule. And people who think they're exceptions to the rule, oh, fuck. Stay the fuck away from those people, you know? Yeah, stay away from those people. Yeah, fuck it. Like I said, it's the parody version of Planet Earth where introverts now seek attention and extroverts are into voyeurism, you know? I didn't get the memo. Nobody told me that shit. When do we update that? Well, you gotta keep up. You gotta keep up, all right?